And warm and dry this evening across West Alabama. Your local 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
The final hours of the presidential campaign, both candidates are campaigning up until the last minute. How they're connecting with voters. In a controversial presidential election, Congress seats up for grabs, and local county elections are all on the ballot. What voter turnout is expected to look like? WVUA 23 News starts right now.
This is WVUA 23 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Vale in tonight for Jabari Pruitt. Our top story tonight, the last full day of campaigning for the 2024 election. The final countdown is on. Tomorrow is Election Day and Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are delivering their last pitches to voters in battleground states. Julia Benbrook has more.
Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are using the last hours before Election Day to make their final pitches to voters.
America is ready for a fresh start, ready for a new way forward, where we see our fellow American not as an enemy, but as a neighbor.
Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? With your vote tomorrow, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country.
While a historic switch-up at the top of the Democratic ticket led Harris to run an accelerated campaign.
We are going to win. I do believe that.
This is Trump's third time as the Republican nominee.
We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to win back that beautiful White House.
The race for the 270 electoral votes needed to win will likely come down to a handful of battleground states. Then there's the balance of power on Capitol Hill, with tight races for control of both chambers. In the House, currently controlled by Republicans, all 435 seats are on the ballot.
We're still have a pathway to grow the majority, but we'll see how things play out. There's just a lot of races that are really close.
In the Senate, currently controlled by Democrats, roughly a third of the 100 seats are up for grabs.
I believe we're going to hold our majority, but it will be close. It's going to go right down to the wire.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Before you go to cast your vote, there are some things you need to know. Polling locations will be open tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You must go to your assigned polling location to vote. To find your polling location, go to alabamavotes.gov. To vote, you will need to present a valid photo ID. That includes driver's license, Alabama law enforcement agencies' digital driver and non-driver photo IDs, U.S. passport, and military IDs. One Tuscaloosa County race will be on the ballot for the general election tomorrow. Will it be enough to draw voters to the polls? WVUA 23's Jocelyn Malave is here to tell us more about what county leaders can expect. Jocelyn?
Laura, local election officials are expecting a high voter turnout rate due to the popularity of that one race and the level of excitement caused by it. The presidential race will top the ballot with some states' races and circuit clerk for Tuscaloosa County printed below it. Tuscaloosa County probate judge Rob Robertson says they're expecting a high voter turnout on Tuesday. The main attraction, the presidential race on the top of the ballot.
Most people who affect your daily lives are actually local. Your leadership locally makes a real difference on a lot of fronts, on your daily life and that of your families. But nationally and just the overall direction of the country, it starts at the top of the ticket.
Both major parties and the registrar's office work together to get out the vote by hosting voter registration drives and other events to help increase the voter turnout in the state. Robertson says people take our right to vote for granted and should instead take advantage of the opportunity to make their voices heard and their votes count.
And there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to earn the right to vote politically, but also protect the right to vote, and whether it be through military or defense or all those other things, it's extremely important that people just take a minute and then go out, cast your vote. If you don't vote, you don't have a license to complain.
There will be a total of 500 poll workers, supervisors, and inspectors at the circuit clerk's office Tuesday to ensure the highest level of effectiveness and safety possible while votes are being cast. They're expecting lines may be long just after the polls Tuesday morning, but are predicted to be much shorter as polls get ready to close at 7 p.m. Laura.
Alabama voters will be deciding some county races in our area on Tuesday. Voters in Bibb County will be choosing a district court judge. Fayette County will be selecting a county commissioner for District 6 and a board of education member for District 6. In Hale County, they'll be choosing a probate judge, a county commissioner for District 2, and board of education members for District 4 and 5. Voters in Pickens County will be electing a school superintendent and a school board member for District 1, and Tuscaloosa County voters will be choosing a circuit clerk. The Alabama Republican Party is launching their election integrity effort across Alabama and into Georgia. The group says more than 400 poll watchers and election lawyers have been deployed. The poll watchers will be stationed in targeted districts to ensure a secure and transparent voting process. There will also be election lawyers available to offer immediate legal support and oversight to ensure full compliance with state election laws. Turning now to weather, it almost seems too warm to be November. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott has our first look at the weather. Good evening, Richard.
Hey, Laura, good evening to you. Very warm across central Alabama. Keep in mind our average high for this time of the year is in the upper 60s. We're currently at 79. Linden at 81. All over the state, well above average. Not to the records, but still very, very warm. And across the board, notice the cloud cover kind of moving on out temporarily. More clouds begin to come back in for tonight. Here's a look at that forecast. 69 to 10, 67 at 1 a.m. just after midnight. Election day tomorrow, if you're heading out the door for the polls opening up 7 a.m., 65 up to 76 by lunchtime or around noon, and then by 7 p.m. as polls close, temperatures in the mid-70s. Also the potential for maybe a shower or two during the afternoon hours. More on your local forecast here in just a few minutes. Laura.
Governor Kay Ivey is back in the office after receiving medical treatment Sunday at a campaign rally. She became unsteady during an appearance at Pike Road near Montgomery. It came during a campaign rally for congressional candidate Caroline Dobson. Witnesses say Ivey was shaking and held onto a beam for support. The 80-year-old governor was treated for dehydration and was given fluids. Stillman College students, faculty, and staff kicked off Founders Week today. They took a 1-mile walk to Greenwood Cemetery to lay wreath at the grave of Dr. Charles Stillman and Reverend Andrew Flynn Dixon. Dr. Stillman pastored at First Presbyterian Church of Tuscaloosa and began the Institute in 1876. Dixon served as the college's first faculty member. Stillman Founders Week runs through Sunday with special events planned all week. Now for a first look at sports. Sports director Gary Harris is here now. Bama has a big game this weekend in Baton Rouge. How is the Tide preparing, Gary?
Hey, Laura, thank you. Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer kicked off LSU week with his Monday press conference. Now, the Crimson Tide will travel to Baton Rouge to take on the Tigers in a pivotal matchup this Saturday night. The rivalry game between the two teams will start at 6:30 Central Time on ABC. Now, this may surprise some of you, but Alabama is a 2.5-point favorite over the Tigers, but you have to keep in mind that the Crimson Tide is 29, 10, and 2 all time at Tiger Stadium. And Coach DeBoer said today that Bama had a very productive bye week.
Had a great bye week. Our guys get a chance to work on the things that we felt we needed to work on as a team, get a little healthier and in a good spot. Guys got back to work yesterday with a good practice, high energy, very intentional on what the job is that we're up against going into LSU here.
And I'll have much more Alabama football, including an injury update on wide receiver Cole Adams. That's coming up later in sports. Laura, back to you.
The Friends of the Library program set a new fundraising record. We'll tell you how much they raised and how it will be spent. And the city of Tuscaloosa is starting a new program to help improve commercial storefronts. How your business could receive a facelift? The city of Tuscaloosa is partnering with local business and property owners to enhance storefronts. The Facelift Storefront Improvement Program is a recent initiative approved by the City Council. It allows commercial property owners to share the financial responsibility of improvements with the city. Funding is a one-time reimbursement of up to $25,000. Organizers say they hope 10 or 12 local businesses will benefit, and they're prioritizing high-trafficked areas.
I think the city of Tuscaloosa as a whole will benefit from this project. I think we all want our city to be more attractive, and our businesses are a huge part of that. And so we want a vibrant business community. We want people to spend their money, spend their tax dollars, especially going into the holidays right now, shop local. And so we are really hopeful that this will make a difference in our community as a whole.
The first round of applications are due December 20th and will be accepted on a competitive rolling basis as funding allows. Some good news for anyone with early holiday travel plans. Gas prices in Alabama continue to drop. Gas Buddy reports our average cost of gasoline has dropped 2 cents per gallon this past week. The average price is now $2.73 per gallon. Alabama's gas prices are half a cent lower than this time last month and 24 cents cheaper than a year ago. The national average price of diesel also dropped 1.3 cents per gallon and now stands at $3.52 per gallon. An investigation into stolen firearms in Walker County has led to an arrest. Bubba Crockett was arrested Saturday on Old Birmingham Highway and charged with burglary and theft. 5 stolen firearms were recovered, including 3 long guns and 2 pistols. Narcotics were also located on Crockett. Sheriff's investigators say more charges are possible. The Tuscaloosa Public Library Friends of the Library set a new fundraising record at more than $100,000 in the annual sales. The 2023-2024 fiscal year proceeds go towards supporting Tuscaloosa Public Library's ongoing mission to serve as a cornerstone of community enrichment and enlightenment. The Friends of the Library program has generated over $1 million for the library over the past dozen years.
And Election Day is tomorrow. Not a bad looking forecast. Going to be quite mild, a little breezy, and maybe a few passing showers. More on your local forecast after the break. Stay with us. Hear my forecast every day on 96.1 The Blessing. And it is obvious the time has changed over the weekend back at the standard time. Got a live view with the Algo traffic camera looking at the community of Marion over in Perry County, right there by the courthouse. And skies are clear there and conditions are dry, but it is certainly getting dark a lot earlier. Let's go to our Pfeiffer cam over at Fayette, and yes, buddy, it's getting dark earlier. In fact, at this time last week, the sun was still out brightly. The temperature right now is 70 degrees in Fayette, wind light to calm. And from Bryant-Denny Stadium here in Tuscaloosa, sunset about 15 minutes ago, a little longer than that now, about 20 minutes ago. 76 with an east wind around 7 miles per hour. Look at Doppler radar. Things are nice and quiet. No rain out there for today, but things are going to change up later on this week. Let's check out temperatures now. 76 here in Tuscaloosa, 77 to Demopolis and Marengo County. And again, temperatures will continue to slowly come down tonight. 69 already over in Calhoun County in Anniston. We'll put on the satellite. And again, there's been quite a bit of cloud cover across central Alabama at times today, but more sun than cloud cover this afternoon, which really made for a beautiful day today, and obviously no rainfall. So here's our forecast for this evening. We'll drop to around 69 on average by 10, and 1 a.m. just after midnight at around 67 with a mostly cloudy sky for tonight. And for the kiddos heading to school tomorrow morning, the bus stop forecast 65 there at daybreak, and again breezy outside here. You'll notice a mostly cloudy sky, and heading home looking at low 80s. There may be a few showers, and that's important for Election Day. If you've got things going on, take the umbrella or the rain jacket just to be safe, but understand the risk of rain all day tomorrow is generally low at around 20%. 65 as polls open up in the morning, lunchtime up to 76, and around 75 as polls do close. Now, we got a tropical storm in the Caribbean. Hard to believe we got a tropical system this time of the year. We still are in the Atlantic hurricane season. This is Raphael, winds at 45 miles per hour now. Again, a weak tropical storm, but it will strengthen here in the Caribbean now. It is also projected to become a Category 2 hurricane as it crosses the western tip of Cuba and then ends up in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, we're going to watch it, but understand by the time it gets about right there, wind shear and dry air are going to rip this storm apart in a big way. So we don't expect a hurricane and landfall if it does come north towards Louisiana, Mississippi, or Alabama. However, this could be more of a beneficial rainmaker to the state, and we can take that. We need the rain, so no major hazards out of that in terms of rain or wind, just some tropical showers around. Here's our forecast. Again, got 81 for tomorrow. Look for a mostly cloudy sky for Election Day. Low 80s going to the day on Wednesday. And we'll stay dry for the most part on Wednesday, but scattered showers are certainly going to be a possibility, so just have the umbrella nearby. And then Thursday, look for a 30% chance for some scattered showers. I do expect a mostly cloudy sky. And then as that tropical system gets a little closer, interacts with the surface front, we'll see rain chances coming back in by Friday and Saturday, fairly elevated with temperatures in the 70s during the day. We'll see 60s at night. So again, some unsettled, warm and muggy weather expected, Laura. So we are looking for some rain local, and we could use it.
Yeah, we could. Thank you, Richard.
All right, no problem.
All right, Sports Director Gary Harris is in for a look at sports. Gary, good evening.
Hey, good evening. Coming up, Kane Womack expects the Alabama defense to be swarming at LSU on Saturday night. And the injury update on wide receiver Cole Adams is not what we were hoping to hear. Coach DeBoer will have the news on the Alabama wide receiver status for the rest of the season next in sports. And welcome back. I'm Gary Harris. Alabama wide receiver and return man Cole Adams will miss the rest of the season with a lower body injury. Head coach Kalen DeBoer made the announcement on Monday ahead of Saturday's game at number 14 LSU. Now, DeBoer didn't elaborate on the nature of the injury, which Adams suffered early in the game 2 weeks ago against Missouri. And, of course, the Crimson Tide had the open date. Here's Coach DeBoer on Cole Adams' injury.
Unfortunately, just because Cole's a guy that pours everything into it, had an injury earlier in the season. Honestly, at the time, probably thought that was going to be something more significant as far as the time frame with the first one. Just seeing the effort he put into that first injury, you really found out a lot about who he was as a person, as a player, just a toughness he had. And unfortunately, he had another injury here now, and lower body injury, and so we'll be done with the season here this year.
And Adams has 6 catches for 94 yards and has also been the primary punt returner. He got his first start at receiver against South Carolina with injuries to Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice, making 2 catches for 57 yards. So the Alabama offense, minus Cole Adams, will invade Baton Rouge on Saturday night, knowing it will need to have a good game in order for the Tide to win. And it all starts with Jalen Milroe. Offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan is confident in his quarterback.
I think, his approach has been just daily improvement, being where your feet are. I think that's the message for everybody in the building, is to just be where your feet are and focus on being the best you can be each and every day in practice and preparation. And then that's how you best prepare yourself to go play well on Saturday. So I don't think his approach has changed, in that regard. And I think it's been steady throughout the season, just his consistency and his routine and his preparation. I think that gives you the best chance to play well.
Well, defensive coordinator Kane Womack expects Alabama's football defensive identity to be challenged on Saturday in Baton Rouge. Under Womack, Alabama has developed a ball-hawking mentality. They're known as the swarm defense. They like to cause takeaways and build momentum through that aggressiveness. Now, that's going to be challenged on Saturday night. Quarterback Garrett Nussmeier in the LSU offense is the 6th-ranked passing offense in the country. But Alabama has confidence coming off a 34-0 shutout win over Missouri. And with what they were able to do against Mizzou, Womack expects the Crimson Tide defense to be locked in against LSU.
So I thought that was a great momentum builder for our players to know, hey, one, we were able to get a shutout, we were able to get the stop, but also I thought it was a real opportunity for some older players and coaches to be able to demand the standard out of some younger players that we are going to have to count on. As the season goes, we've already counted on some of those players due to injuries. So I think certainly anytime you can get a shutout, especially in the SEC, I think you can build off of that momentum.
And Laura, tonight, a basketball doubleheader. The Alabama women playing right now against New Orleans, opening the season at Coleman Coliseum. And then at 8 o'clock, the men take on UNC Asheville. We'll have highlights from both games tonight at 10.
All right, well, thank you, and we'll be right back. Coming up tonight at News at 10, expect a packed house at tonight's Northport City Council meeting regarding the University Beach development. And 5 people are arrested for soliciting prostitution in Tuscaloosa. We will have the latest on the investigation, those stories, and more tonight at 10. Professors put post-holiday pumpkins to good use by treating them with fire and fury, all in the name of education. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Bombs away! A California university's annual event pitting pumpkins against gravity in the name of science definitely puts the fall into festive fall fun. Chico State's annual pumpkin drop experiment uses pumpkins aplenty to teach the principles of physics and gravity to elementary school students in the widest of arrays of wild and wacky ways, from setting them on fire or filling them with water to launching them to their pulpy doom from a harrowing height. Organizers say the annual event allows the young minds access to complex scientific concepts in a fun and colorful way. And from building young minds to young minds building. Take a look at a tiny home designed and built entirely by these Alaska 7th and 8th graders.
Anybody can build a house, even kids.
The students from the Anchorage Stream Academy set out on the project last year in an effort to learn about real-world solutions to real-world problems like homelessness. The cozy dwelling, built for less than $4,000, will eventually be donated to an area church doing a drive to combat the city's housing issue, but in the meantime, these industrious students aren't slowing down.
We're planning on building furniture as one of our next STEM projects, so we can put it in here and make it more livable.
Hopefully we can inspire other people to build houses like this.
Finally, on the subject of tiny spaces,
since when did we become deer wranglers?
These cops are about to be schooled. Several officers in Overland, Missouri had to work together to free a deer that crashed into and around a nail salon before becoming trapped in the bathroom. The animal eventually wobbled on out, and the brave officers learned it's never too late to learn a new skill. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
All right, well, last look at sports.
Yeah, like I said, Bama basketball opening the season tonight, men and women with a doubleheader, highlights at 10.
All right, and that election weather for us.
Yeah, so we got Election Day tomorrow. Polls open up at 7 a.m., and we're looking good in the morning, mid-60s, mostly cloudy, a little breezy tomorrow. 76 by lunchtime and around 7 p.m. We got temperatures in the mid-70s as polls close. We'll top out at around 81. There may be a few brief showers and small rain chances for Wednesday and Thursday. Higher rain chances as Raphael gets closer on Friday and Saturday.
All right, well, that's our show for tonight, and you can always check developing stories on WVUA23.com. Have a good night.